Thank you.
Hello, my name is Owen Roll. I lead the energy transition practice here at Reuters Events, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by two brilliant guests from our global partner Schneider Electric, who were recently also voted and ranked as the world's most sustainable company. To discuss all things digital transformation in the world of energy, I'd like to introduce Frédéric Godemel, EVP for Power Systems Services, and Cecile Versalino, VP and EcoStructure Program Leader. Thank you both for joining us.
Hello, Owen.
Hello.
To begin, let's look at these two concepts around digital transformation and energy transition. So, Frédéric, what is this energy transition?
Well, look, the energy transition is basically the way to keep using energy as we need with less CO2 emissions and less CO2 constraint, right? That's basically what it is. And in order to achieve that, we know that using more electricity is the right solution. Means on one hand, electricity is produced with more and more renewables, so with a CO2 footprint that is much better. And on the other hand, the goal is now to electrify processes or usage that were before using fossil fuel. I can mention electrical vehicle and a lot of industrial usage in which we can replace today at an affordable cost other source of energy by electricity. This is, in summary, the energy transition.
Sure. So why does this energy transition therefore kind of require digital transformation, and what does it really mean to be digitally transformed?
Yeah, so I will answer that. So definitely energy transition, as we say, to digitize the electrical distribution is what is at stake. The digitization of electrical distribution means also better management of these networks. Digitization is allowing our customers to manage them with the reliability, the safety and efficiency that they require. Just one example, coming back to Frédéric's point, on the renewable side and the impact of the renewable on the grid, which is bringing a lot of instability to the grid. So we need to keep the grid balanced. Only the information coming from the network with the grid and the data will provide the capacity to our customers to manage this balance for this example.
Sure. So interested to know a bit more kind of how this digital transformation is changing life at work and jobs for technicians, operators, and software engineers. A 2020 IDC report suggested that 75% of organizations will have digital transformation roadmaps by 2023, but just 27% do today. So Frédéric, perhaps to come back to you, what impact has COVID had in terms of technology adoption and investment, and are there other factors at play as well?
Well, it's obvious that COVID and lockdowns has a tremendous impact, because when people could not be on site, they were pretty interested to look how they could operate things, control things, monitor things remotely. So of course, COVID has represented an acceleration of digitization. If you cope with it, COVID as well has probably generated much more conscious on how we need collectively to protect the planet. And I believe we see an acceleration of the sustainability demand. So if you cope with a world in which we cannot always be on site, we need to control things remotely, and we want the things to be greener, then both of them are combining into a story which is much, much more usage of digital in all the energy processes.
Sure, and that kind of IoT space, which obviously linked in here, does have the potential to improve business efficiencies amongst other things, but does bring cybersecurity risks amongst other things as well. So Cecile, what are successful companies doing to mitigate this?
Yeah, sure. Cybersecurity is definitely at stake when we are talking about digital. For me, I'm always saying that cybersecurity is the quality of digital behind it's a must, it's mandatory. So definitely the companies that are successful managing cybersecurity, it's coming from the product itself, the cybersecurity at every stage and every layers of the electrical distribution network. We have some standards that is regulating the needs for the different businesses. So definitely cybersecurity is a must. Not only, I would say, at the product level, but at the network and the system level. So that is why Schneider Electric is developing cybersecurity consulting competencies to be able to accompany our customers in that transformation as well and secure completely this digital network that they will have to manage.
Sure, and I'm sure we'll come back to kind of some of those offerings on the Schneider Electric side later. But now, kind of would like to look more into the opportunities, some of those challenges and priorities for the digital transformation and the energy transition. Data and technology both growing exponentially at the moment, and we know that the digital transformation has incredible potential to deliver both cost and carbon kind of savings and efficiencies through the energy transition. So, Frédéric, for the energy sector specifically, how can digital technologies help create a more sustainable and electrified world through this energy transition?
Well, look, we were discussing about digital. Each time you digitize, you monitor. Each time you monitor, you get data. So when you get data, you can permanently enter into a world where you improve the usage of your energy, where you balance better, where you look at losses, and then the wheel is starting. Means you understand where you are, you can optimize, you take action to optimize. So basically, there is not two different stories. One that would be digital and the other one that would be sustainability or energy efficiency. This is basically the same story. It starts by monitoring. It starts by getting data points on your source of energy and understanding from there how you can improve.
Sure. So as we move through this, then, kind of what are the biggest challenges facing this community as we go through, and how are you supporting your customers through this process across their life cycles?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is the data itself. I mean, data means nothing if it's not transformed into reliable and valuable information for our customers. So one of the main challenges is to bring above the digitization and the data production is what is a layer of expertise information that the customers is getting, so that he can manage the entire electrical distribution and this transformation itself. So I think this is one of the biggest challenge, is what to do with the data. So that is why we have to develop a layer of expertise, prediction, usage, and algorithm on top of this data. And this is also part of what we need to bring to our customers, so that this digitization is not a mountain itself, but is bringing really the efficiency that the customers are requiring.
Sure. So interested to kind of look at where the priorities lie, and kind of to understand if this is really is aligning kind of customer priorities around climate goals. So if it is, Frédéric, where do cost, reliability, safety sit in kind of these order of priorities, or are there other factors that are kind of self-reinforcing? And as a follow-on, how are you ensuring that kind of power grids remain reliable throughout this transformation?
Yeah, look, we don't have anybody that would put safety or reliability after other priorities. So when you deal with electricity and energy, basically safety, reliability comes first, right? People need safety and they obviously need the reliability. And because, as we explained at the beginning, more and more processes will be using electricity, reliability becomes very key. After you've got all the story of efficiency and sustainability, right? And some companies may have different priorities. I think they go along well together. What we see is that when people are looking at sustainability, they get efficiency, they get pretty high return on investment. So when they invest into looking at their efficiency of the usage of energy, they get pretty quickly a cost return that is pretty high. And companies who are looking at both are basically the most successful companies. So efficiency and sustainability in most of the time goes well along together.
Sure. So we said we'd come back to kind of some of these more real examples of digital transformation in the world of energy and kind of what that means for your customers and some of the work that obviously Schneider Electric are doing in this space. So how is digital changing the world at work in different markets and segments that you are present in? And perhaps, renewable integration, the grid, digital transformation in buildings, heavy industries, kind of how do you see this playing out?
Yeah, each, I would say, markets and customers have their specific needs, and their focus is pretty different in terms of what is the most important for their business. So if you take, for example, the oil and gas segment, that is moving towards sustainability efficiencies as a first priority of what they are doing today. Digitization is bringing a lot when we are talking about unmanned platform, sustainability, transformation to electrification. That's where they are. We are investing a lot in terms of digitization. When we are talking about the grid, as I said, the renewable impact is huge on the grid itself, and without digitization they will never be able to manage the instability of their grid. And maybe last one example, but there is so multiple examples, business by business. On the building side, the EV charging stations that it's now mandatory, and also the microgrid approach for each of these buildings for the zero carbon efficiency that they are expecting are definitely the application where digitization is bringing most of the efficiency.
Sure. And I guess another point we touched on earlier, and I of course mentioned in the introduction, is you've recently received that recognition as kind of the most sustainable company in the world. This comes after multiple awards, of course, for your SF6 free technology. So interested for you to break down this journey for us a little, to kind of to number one, and to deep dive into exactly what this technology means for the sector, and how it's possible to deliver both those cost and carbon savings that we've been discussing.
We entered in Schneider into this journey probably 10-15 years ago, looking at our own carbon footprint, own efficiency. We started to do that in our own sites, right? And we've been able to improve, and we constantly improve our carbon footprint from our own operations. We went as well to see how we could help our customers, right? And what we saw is that some of our products using a gas that was SF6 was basically not very good from electrical standpoint, but not very good when there are some emissions during the usage. So we decided to move all our technology towards air instead of SF6, and we are starting to offer those solutions to our customers. We got some award for that. Our goal being to work on our own processes and as well help our customers to reduce their carbon emissions.
No, fascinating. And we know you've had great success in particular, with E.ON as one of your first customers to adopt this SF6 free technology. So Fred, can you talk to us a little bit more about this pilot project?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we did is when 2 years ago we were pretty sure that we could have good solutions to replace SF6 by air, we proposed, and E.ON came to us to accept to be the pilot. So we put on their network some of those products since 2 years to ensure that they would operate with a high level of safety and reliability. So since 2 years, this customer have been the first pioneer of putting a switch with air instead of SF6 on its network, and it's operating pretty well. So a great example of customers who are leading the way of decarbonization.
No, absolutely. And Cecile, perhaps you could talk to us around kind of some of those other solutions that Schneider are developing at the moment, and how does this technology help support related offerings like EcoStruxure Grid and EcoStruxure Power, etc.
Sure. So EcoStruxure is definitely the digitization of the network. From the connected product through the software to the digital services. So what we want to deliver to our customers is a full integrated, interoperable and reliable system to help them to really get the efficiency and reliability that we are expecting by application. So that's the aim of our EcoStruxure program at Schneider Electric. What we want to do as well is to bring our expertise to our customers so that they can manage properly this new way of being formed, a new way of managing the data. And this is why we are providing as well a set of digital services, helping them bringing this expertise for the predictive, preventive maintenance of their network, and also the efficiency of their operations. So that's the full set of what we are delivering, from the product up to the most advanced digital services. And what is important is what will come next as well in the coming years.
Yeah, absolutely. And with a nod to the future, then we're seeing digitalized services becoming more and more prevalent. So do you see a future with no field technicians actually on the ground, and kind of what's next after this predictive maintenance?
Yeah, so there is a little bit this dream of no people on the ground from some of our customers, but I'm pretty I would say, balance on that. Definitely,
Sure.
we will improve the capacity of the operators with the augmented operators. And that's something that we are working with our customers to leverage better the capacity of the operator to get them more safe and trained and experts in what they are doing, thanks to the digitization. This is what we are calling the augmented operator. Definitely, we are digitizing remote areas where it's difficult and dangerous potentially to operate. So we are improving the capacity and the efficiency on the field. I'm not personally convinced that we will have no more operator on the field. I don't think so. But definitely we are continuing to improve the capacity of the maintenance crew to be more efficient in their daily job and in a safer environment.
Sure. Sure, and I guess we'll continue to watch that then as we move forward. Frédéric, Cécile, thank you both for joining me today.
Thanks, Owen.
An absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Owen.
We've got lots more exciting stuff still to come with Schneider Electric here at